This is a snowplow operator training video for a JCB 417 with a Metal Plus wing plow snow pusher on it. In this video, we will go over the basic operation of the machine, how to do a pre-trip inspection, and how to operate the plow. First thing that we will need to do before we start the machine is perform a pre-trip inspection. We'll start this on this side of the machine. We will check our transmission oil level inside this red, this sight glass here. If you see red fluid, your level is good. Next thing, while we're here, we'll go over the diesel fill-up. This is your cap here. It is locking, so you will have to unlock it with your same machine key, and you will be able to turn and fill up your machine full of diesel. And when you're done, install the cap and then lock the cap again. This prevents anybody from putting any unwanted substances inside the fuel tank. Next thing that we will do, we will head to the back of the machine inside the engine compartment. You will have to unlock it as well. Here, there's a key slot. Turn it to the unlock position. Push the button and the hatch should open up. A couple things to go over on this side. Starting from the top, we have our coolant reservoir here. You want to make sure that it is above the minimum level here. Next thing, working our way down, we have our washer fluid reservoir. Want to make sure that you have adequate fluid inside here for your whole shift. Working our way over, we have our DEF fill point. This one requires a separate key that will be given to you guys upon your training. Working our way around the machine to the other side, the next thing that we have to check is our engine oil. So that will be on this dipstick here on the side. We're just gonna pull it out, make sure we have oil. Looks good. Put it back in. And last thing that we will check on the outside of the machine here is our hydraulic fluid level, which is done from this sight glass here. As you can see, our level is good. If you can see fluid, that means you're good to go. Go back around the machine, close up the engine compartment, and lock it. Now we will go inside the machine and start it up. What we'll do, unlock the door here, and we always disconnect take the battery isolation switch out. So this is the key here. It's always right inside the door, and it goes underneath here. And you're just gonna put it inside the slot. There's these little things that stick out and they go inside the slots. You insert it and you twist, and then now you are good to go. That stays there. We also have a reminder here saying remove isolation key after every use so that the batteries do not go dead. And we will enter inside the machine. And first thing that we'll do is we'll start it. So our key slot is over here on the far side. Turn it, the first click, let it do its thing for about 5 seconds. It might do a preheat and whatever. And then after that's done, we will start the machine. Now that the machine is started, next thing that we will do is we will turn all of our lights on and make sure that all of that is working. So it is going to be the top 6 buttons here on our control panel. Turn the 6 of them on and they should all light up red. If one of these are flashing, that means you have an issue, but they are all solid red, so we are good to go. We will step back out of the machine and walk around and make sure that all of our lights are working. We have our work lights on the top of the machine, as well as our headlights going around the machine. We have more work lights on the top there, and we have our parking and fog lights in the back, as well as our beacon light on top. We want to make sure that that is flashing. Now that we've got all that checked, we can head into the machine and get everything ready. Now that we've performed our pre-trip inspection, we can go on with getting into the machine and getting it ready. First thing that I will show you guys while we're here, it's easier for me to show you at this angle, is all of our seat adjustments. So you have your armrest here that folds down. You got this little knob here that you can spin, and it adjusts the actual height that the armrest is sitting at. Back here we have our heated seat switch, just on and off. This one is our lumbar support. Maybe you guys can see the seat moving there. You can adjust it however you want. Down here we have our tilt switch, so you can adjust that to wherever you need. Keep moving down with our seat adjustment here. We have our slide backwards and forwards, and once you get it, you just push it down to the locked position. On the front of the seat here, we have two more. This one, you can adjust the front of the seat to slide. Let's see, to slide. On the front of the seat here, you have a couple more adjustments that we can do, where we can slide the seat forwards and backwards, as well as we have the option to tilt up and tilt down the seat. Last thing we have is our air ride adjustment here. We got the switch that you pull up to add air into the seat and push down to deflate it. Here, this is our indicator for how much air pressure we want. It's green right now. If you need more air or less air, it'll go red. And last one over here is our switch to lock the seat into position if you don't want to use the air ride. But I do recommend that you do use it, because it will be very hard on your back if you don't. So let's sit inside the machine, and I'll show you guys the air ride control here. So as you can see, we're in the red, so I will inflate the seat until it turns green. You can see it there starting to turn green. And we are good to go. Next thing that we'll talk about is our steering wheel. So on the bottom here of the steering wheel, pull this lever towards you, and the steering wheel will come down and lock into a position. Down here you have an adjustment for your steering wheel position. Pull it towards you, and now you can adjust the steering wheel to whatever angle, and as well you can telescope it in and out to whatever position you want. Once you have it in the exact position that you would like, lock it back down, and then every time that you pull this towards you now, it will lock in that same position. So that is all for the seat and steering wheel adjustment. Now inside the machine, on the left side over here, we have a window that we can open and close using this switch. We have a mirror out here on the outside. You got a couple mirrors here that you can adjust so that you can see behind you. In the front here, you can pull down a sun visor if you feel the need to. Same mirrors on both sides. Starting our way from the top down, we have our HVAC controls. So you have your fan speed here. You have air conditioning or just no AC. You have recirculation or fresh air, and you also have your temperature control. Down here we have our radio. And here we have a backup camera for the machine, as well as a bunch of information. You can scroll through here, but this stuff we don't really worry about, so just leave it here. You'll only be using this for your backup camera. Working our way down here, we'll go to the switch panel. So as I stated before, the first 6 buttons are going to be your lights. This is your daytime running lights, your headlights, beacon, fog lights, front work lights, and rear work lights. Working our way down here, we have our button for our rear windshield wiper. So if we push it once, the rear wiper will start to go, and if we push and hold it, then we will get washer fluid. Next up over here is our heated rear window. If it's frosty, turn this on and it will melt all the ice on the back of the windshield. These buttons do not concern us. Working our way down here, this is another button we got to worry about. Plow with this one on, what it does is that when you push the brake pedal, it disconnects the transmission from the engine so that doesn't keep trying to move forward. I've been told to plow with this on. It's easier with the machine, so I always just do that. This button we don't concern ourselves with. Next one here is our smooth ride feature. So right now it is off. If we push it, it will turn on. And basically what this does is it gives movement in our lift cylinders here that allow the plow to move up and down as we're driving down the road, so it dampens the shock that the plow puts on. It just gives you a smoother ride. So when you're driving down the road, you want to make sure you have this on, but when you're plowing, you do have to turn it back off. These buttons nothing to worry about, and the only other one down here is our quick attachment lock, but that is another button that you guys should not need to use. If you do, call one of the managers and you guys will go through it further. Next thing down here, this is just some user information. If you want to go through the owner's manual and stuff like that, the knob, it controls the screen up here as well. So, but that one we always just leave it on this screen that has all of your information, and if something does start to go wrong, it will beep at you and let you know. Working our way down here, we have our hazards. So that's a switch you want to have on when you're driving down the road. You will know because you can see over here it's flashing and it's beeping at you. And then lastly, on this column, we have our mirror adjustment. So these are power mirrors. So if we switch it over to the left, same thing as in a car, you could adjust your mirrors to however you would like. If we switch it over to the right side, we can adjust our right side mirror to wherever we would like. And when we're done, just put it back to the middle position. Now moving over to the steering column here and the controls on it. Obviously you have your steering wheel that turns the machine. Here on the left side of it, we have a switch here that you can use to select your forward gear, reverse, or neutral if you would like, but we do not use this one. We have a different way of selecting it. And on here you have your gear selector. So you have gear 1, 2, and 3, and you also have a 4th gear, which also puts it in automatic. We always just leave it in the 4th gear automatic. When you're plowing, it will figure out whichever gear works best for it. So we just leave that there. Working our way over here, we have a turn signal stock. So push up, it will be your left signal. Pull down, it will be your right signal. And we have a couple different speeds available for the wiper blades. We have intermittent, a little bit faster, and then full speed, as you can see. And to activate your washer fluid, this little collar on the outside, we'll just push it in and then it will spray washer fluid. And the last button over here is our horn on the outside. Push it, you can hear the horn. And as well, we got vents all over the place for whatever you need. You can adjust them however you want. And lastly, here we'll go over the dash. So this one down here is your engine temperature. You have your fuel gauge, you have your RPMs, as well. Here you have your gear selector if you're in forwards or reverse. I'll show you guys that. So here you'll see we will be in second gear going forward, and we will be second gear in reverse. You have your vehicle speed here, you have your engine RPM. This one is our DEF gauge, so we are full right now, and you just got a couple indicators here showing you what lights you have on and other stuff. If there's anything wrong with the machine, though, some stuff will flash at you here and you'll get some warnings, but if that does happen, then just call your supervisor and then we can figure out a plan from there. That is pretty much all for the controls inside of the machine, apart from our joystick, which we will go over next. Now we will go over our joystick controls. So starting on the top here, we have a horn button on this one here if you would like to use this one as well. Honks the horn. Next thing we'll do is the rest of these buttons we won't concern ourselves with now. I'll explain them later. Here, if we pull the stick towards us, it is going to raise the whole arms all the way up. If we push down, the arms will lower. If we push this to the right or out, it will curl the plow down. And if we push it in towards us, the plow will curl up. Those are the basic loader arm functions. And on the back of our switch here, on the back of our joystick here, we have our gear selector switch. So if we push it up, it will go into drive, middle is neutral, and down is reverse. So that is how we will get the machine in gear and get it moving. First thing that we got to do on this side is put our parking brake down to move. Here we will just put it down, and then we can flick the switch here. We can put it into reverse, and we can start to make our way backwards. We can use the backup camera to see what's behind us, or you can turn around and you can also get a view that way. And then we will just push the brake down here. We do drive these machines with 2 feet. So on the right side you have your gas pedal, on the left you have your brake. If we want to move forward, we will put it to the forward position. These machines as well, as soon as you put it into forwards or reverse, the machine will start to move on its own, so you do want to keep your foot on the brake. So we will release the brake pedal, and now we will start moving, and then we can give it gas so that we can start to go faster. That is the basic controls of how to drive the machine. And now in the next segment we will go over how to use the plow. To operate your plow and use all the features available, there's a couple things that we gotta understand. Is we have 2 separate wings, so we have a left wing and we have a right wing on the outside, as well as we have our main moldboard here. So to operate this plow, on our joystick here, there's 2 switches that we will use. We have a 3-way switch here that goes left, middle, and to the right. In the middle position of this switch, if we use our thumb to toggle this switch up and down, the plow will move left and right. If you can see here, we'll pull down on the switch and our plow will move to the right. If we push up, the plow will move to the left. Get it back in the middle position. Now, if we toggle this switch to the left, and we use our same thumb controls up and down, we will get control of our left side wing. You can see they spin 180 degrees. Now flip the switch all the way to the right side position, and we can operate the other wing using the same thumb switch here, up and down. One thing to keep in mind is that we want to keep this toggle switch in the middle position when we are not using the wings, or else there's a possibility that we will burn one of the solenoids on the plow. So just try to keep in mind as best you can to leave this in the middle position, especially if you're driving down the road and you won't be plowing for some time. It is best to leave this in the middle or neutral position. Now, basics of plowing, another thing we got to keep in mind is our down pressure. So on these Metal Plus plows, they have these two red bars here, and those are our down pressure indicators. You will put the plow pretty much until it's almost touching the ground using your joystick, and then once you get very close, I like to tilt this to the right or outwards, and then it will bring the plow down the rest of the way. And you just keep tilting until those two red lines line up, and then now you know that you have proper down pressure. You will get a good scrape like this, and you also will prevent damaging the surface below by having too much pressure on it. So that is the basics of how to operate your plow using the joystick controls. Last thing that we will go over is shutting down the machine and putting it away. So let's say this is the position that we are going to leave the machine after our shift. First thing that we can do is raise our steering wheel here, get it out of the way. We want to make sure that all our windows are closed and in the lock position. That side and this side, obviously park and brake up, and our switch in the neutral position for our gear selectors. We're going to turn all of our lights off so that there are no more red dots. And last thing, we will shut the key off on the machine. So now the machine is off, remove our key, and we can step out of the machine. Underneath this bar here, you have your handle. So you just squeeze it and it will open the door. Door will automatically open for you, and we can make our way out of the machine. One thing we want to do is do a quick walk around on the machine. Make sure that all of the lights are turned off and nothing is left on that can drain the battery, although we are going to disconnect the battery using the isolation switch. But we'll just do a walk around, make sure that everything is how it's supposed to be, and then once we finish our walk around, we will come back over here to the side of the machine. We will twist the key, remove it, and we put it inside the machine, close the door, and lock it. These doors, just a heads up, you do have to slam them pretty hard. If you just do it lightly, they won't close all the way and water will get in. So give them a good slam, don't be shy. And yeah, that is it for the operator training on how to drive and use all the features on a JCB 417 wheel loader with a Metal Plus wing blade on it.